A few people have been asking me for examples of the prices of invoice finance facilities, so I've put together this short video which will give you more information. So I'm going to take you to our website. A lot of the info is on there and I'll show you where to look for it. So if you go to fundinvoice.co.uk, you can see here under business financing there's the Invoice Finance tab, and that's where I am to start with. Now this page tells you everything about invoice finance, how it works, what the benefits are to you, and it then tells you how much money you can raise, and finally the costs, how they work. So here is a link here to an explanation of the invoice finance and factoring costs. Now this page is about how those costs work, so it tells you what the different components of those fees are likely to be. So it's things like administration charge, service charge and discount charge, and each one of those is explained. There are also links here to detailed explanations of exactly how you go about calculating those. Now further down this page it links to two other important sections which are worth looking at here. These are examples of the costs for factoring and also for invoice discounting. I'll take you through to both of those in a second, but what they will give you is the costs according to the size of your business approximately. These are not necessarily the fees that you'd be quoted, but this is an example of the types of fees that we would expect for a business of a particular size. So if we go first to the factoring example, this page here is the banding. You can see here for a factoring facility starts with a small business of 75k turnover, gives you an idea of what they might pay. It then breaks that down into a cost per month per £1,000 that they're borrowing. It gives similar information for a small business, a medium-sized company of £1 million turnover, and then a larger business as well, which is down here. We've got a similar thing for invoice discounting. The invoice discounting examples again will be broken down by a small startup business. This is what they could expect to pay. A smaller business turning over £250,000, a medium-sized business, and then a larger business. And you can see the price per £1,000 borrowed goes down depending on as the size of the business increases. Going back to that first page that we were looking at, you'll find a link on here to the pricing research that we've conducted. Now this will also be something that you might want to look at if you're thinking of getting an invoice finance or factoring facility. We've done a lot of studies comparing prices between different providers, and you'll see links to all of them on this page. I just want to draw your attention to one down here which gives you an example of why you should be looking across the market to find the best pricing, and that is here. This is a recourse factoring facility that we looked at for a particular client, and the quotes that we were given by different providers, there was a difference of a multiple of 2.7 times between the cheapest and the most expensive quote. So that's a huge difference between the cheapest and the top end of the market. So that's why it's important to have a search around when you're thinking of using this type of service. Now on every page of our website you'll find one of these forms in the column here. This allows you to put in some very basic details, click request a quote, and we'll do a search for you and come back to you with the best pricing that we can find. So hopefully that's been helpful. Use that form if you need us to search for quotes for you, and hopefully that's given you a bit more insight into pricing within the invoice finance sector.